know y'all like that Acres Homes entrance. I know that's right. What's up, everybody? Y'all look so good. You look good. So thank you, first of all, to everybody for being here. Thank y'all for holding space with me. To 19 Keys for allowing me to be here as well. My name is Candace Love. I always start with a disclaimer because it gives me the opportunity to share how I want to show up in vulnerability. Typically, everybody says when you go out on stage, make sure you go out there, make sure you're confident. And how I express my confidence is through vulnerability, transparency, and honesty. So I'm gonna be real honest with y'all, I'm nervous as hell. So with that being said, when I express that amount of vulnerability, it allows me to release what I'm holding on to and no longer hold on to it. And then it invites other people to actually share space with me and hold space with me. So thank y'all for being here.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank y'all. So I'm going to introduce myself. Like I said, I'm Candace Love. I'm 33 years old. I have a background in the military and policing. I did 10 years in the military and the Army, 7 years as a police officer, and then I transitioned into criminal justice, teaching middle school students, high school students, and those in juvenile detention, criminal justice. I'm a full-time entrepreneur. I'm a new author. I've traveled the world with my German Shepherd and my van that I have renovated. And as well, I'm an intuitive guide. And that means that I help guide people through their emotional trauma. That means I teach them how to heal from emotional pain. A large chunk of my clientele is licensed therapists, licensed psychiatrists, and licensed psychologists. This is because I teach them how to guide people from a place of intuition and not just regurgitated information from books. Okay, and that's very necessary in the healing process. Thank you for that. And so also in that, I also do retreats with my husband in the country and outside of the country. So my life is based and curated around emotional healing, not just for myself, but for everyone involved. So tonight, that's basically just what I'm going to speak about. And I want to start off with an experiment. I want to give everyone the opportunity to participate. I am going to ask everyone to participate. This will require you to express a little bit of vulnerability. Now, I ain't going to take y'all too fast, okay? Just a little bit. What happens when someone asks you to express vulnerability, the reason why people have such a hard time doing it is because it forces a person to see you. You have to show up naked in that moment. That means you're not allowed to wear masked identities, personas, or characters. You have to allow someone to see the truth of who you are. And yes, that's difficult. Yes, it can be hard, but that's why it's a practice. And you can do it in small ways just by checking in with yourself. So what I'm going to ask everyone to do is you're going to raise your hand. And then when I express a few emotions that you may have experienced this week alone, you're going to put your hand down. So everyone can go ahead and just raise your hand. If you experienced grief, sadness, or depression this week alone, put your hand down. If you are someone who experienced anger, frustration, or being annoyed, put your hand down. Okay, I know that's right. God, no. If you are someone who was overwhelmed, someone who experienced anxiety or stress this week, put your hand down. If you are someone who felt unworthy or insecure, you can go ahead and put your hand down. If you are someone who experienced any emotion that is undesirable, even if it's something as small as somebody cutting you off in traffic or you having to wait in line, go ahead and put your hand down. The reason why an activity like this is so necessary is because the body uses 80 to 90% of its energy just to suppress emotions, just to suppress emotional pain, and just to suppress emotional trauma. So even if you do not think that you have emotional trauma or you experience emotional stress, there's an 80 to 90% chance that you do, and you just aren't conscious of it. That also leads me to have to now ask the question, what is trauma? And so when it comes to emotional trauma, most people think it has to be this huge, grandiose situation of you being tied up in somebody's basement when you were younger, and it doesn't have to be that. Emotional trauma is any sensation that is so overwhelming in the body that it causes stress on the brain, and you don't know the proper tools to process that emotion. It downloads into the body, it downloads as stress on the brain, and then it manifests as pain in the body, which looks like loss of memory. If I ask half of you about what happened when you were younger, give me details on how certain experiences made you feel, 9 times out of 10, you won't remember all of the details of your childhood. That is an indication that trauma is present. If you have aches, pains in the body, knee issues, liver issues, kidney issues, cancer, dis-ease in the body, that is an indication that trauma is present. It is an indication that there is an emotional stress in the body, an emotional stress on the brain, and in turn, an emotional stress and a chaos at the molecular level. So now, this matters because a lot of you are here at the highest level tour, but you want to heal, grow, and evolve into the person you want to be. You want to have all of these beautiful things, beautiful desires, make a lot of money, but you're holding on to things that no longer serve you. You're holding on to characters, identities, grudges, people, places, things, relationships, arguments that probably happened about 10 years ago that you're still rehearsing in the mirror every morning. All of these things are open wounds. And what happens when you don't heal open wounds, they bleed in your present moment. So it's just like the song, y'all remember this song, Erykah Badu. Bad lady, you gon' hurt your back, dragging all them bags like that. I guess nobody ever told you, all you must hold on to is you, is you, is you. And then what else does she say? One day, all the bags gonna get in your way. And then she moves on to say, bag lady, you gon' miss your bus. You can't hurry up, cause you got too much stuff. So as beautiful as the song is, she's literally telling us that there's so many things that you want to do with your life, but you can't because you're being held down by all the baggage that you're holding. Whether you are conscious of it, whether you are oblivious of it, these are the things that will always bleed into your present moment when it's time for you to adapt or adopt the job, the career, the amount of money that you want to experience. You cannot, with spiritual integrity, adopt the things that you want and you don't have a solid foundation of emotional health, physical, and spiritual health. That has to be the foundation. A few years ago, I had this great idea that I was gonna start my own business. I had a skincare company, I still have it, Sasha Flowers Intentional Skincare. And I told God, I said, I only want to have 100 items sold. And it turns out I sold 5,000 items within the first 30 days. I made 6 figures within the first 30 days. But I only, thank y'all, I appreciate it. I only prepared to sell 100 items. So now I have to also ask the question, are you even equipped to receive the things that you are asking for? Do you have the spiritual stamina to withhold your personal and spiritual boundaries when you receive the things that you're asking for? Are you fit for elevation? Are you fit for transformation? When these things do come into your life and you do receive the things that you've asked for, do you know how to sustain it and do you know how to maintain it? I recognized that when I made all this money, I created this beautiful career, I was exhausted. I didn't know how to ask for help. And I quickly recognized that I did not know how to maintain, and I was not capable of receiving the things that I asked for. A lot of you want to have all of the beautiful things in your life, and you deserve to have all of the beautiful things in your life. But your foundation is what matters, because you'll begin to ask for things that you ain't got no business asking for because you don't know how to receive it. It's just like when people experience love, they're like, you know, I want to be in a relationship. I want to be in love. I want somebody to love me like that. I want the soft life. I want somebody to take me out on dates. And then somebody does show up to love you, and it's like, oh, you're too nice, right? That is an indication that a person wants to ask for the thing, but they don't have the solid foundation to actually know how to receive it. And this matters. The last thing that I'll say is the how. Everyone always wants to know, well, you didn't tell me what to do. How do I actually do that? And there's a few things that I'll say. There's stillness, there's solitude, there's silence, and there's meditation. I can tell you how I did it, but you have to learn how to inquire with your own personal soul, your own spirit, and allow that to guide you and be the answer of how you are supposed to maneuver in your how. How do you set this solid foundation so you're not like me and you acquire all the things that you want to, and then you lose yourself in the process? So I traveled the world. I lived in the mountains for months. I chose to be abstinent for 4 years. I chose to be celibate for 4 years, unintentionally, it just happened. But my intention was to only focus on my healing, my growing, and my evolving. And from there, I had to build, and this allowed me to build the foundation so I could become the person I wanted, so I could acquire the things that I wanted and not lose myself in the process. So that's my time, everybody. I appreciate it.